Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Adr1ft in what might be our final episode. I'm not sure. How we doing, Max?
I have no idea, but I'm doing pretty good tonight, actually. Yeah, had a good weekend. How about
Nice.
yourself?
I just got out of a freaking long meeting for work, so I'm
Oh,
down to
really?
game. I'm DTG right now.
Yeah, nice.
Oh man, and it doesn't help
Those
that
are
I
tough. I
come
had a
home and finally get to explore the Steam Summer Sale and 10 things that I've been kind of sort of wanting or floating around the idea of buying are all on sale. I ended up, well, you
nice.
saw what I did. I prioritized like 4 or 5 games that I really wanted that were in the $10 or lower range, and I went for those. I sprung.
Yeah, that's usually what I do too. Like the stuff that's the stuff that's came out this year, the stuff that's like 6 months or newer is usually like maybe 25% off, 33% off. It's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's usually the really good stuff that was definitely worth $60 that's now $20 or less.
Right. Yep.
It's like 2 years, a year and a half old is really
That's
the stuff that gets me
that's
excited.
exactly right. So what I ended up going with this year was Cosmic Star Heroine, which is kind of an indie Chrono Trigger clone that I've had my eye
Okay.
on. I went with
I'll
The
listen to it.
Vanishing of Ethan Carter, which we're gonna play on this channel for Indian Summer.
Yeah.
I did whatchamacallit, the Resident Evil 4 HD remaster, and then
Nice.
shit, you were
Oh, and
watching
you
it.
got Yakuza on
Yakuza
there.
Zero,
Yeah.
yeah, which is a series that I really don't know a whole lot about, but I've kind of really wanted to get into, simply
Yeah.
because from what little I understand about the series, it's kind of the spiritual successor to Shenmue, and it doesn't take itself super seriously, so it kind of seems right up my alley.
I haven't played any of them, but yeah, that's kind of what I've heard is that it really doesn't take itself
I've heard
seriously
it's
at
a
all
it's
while
a
still
really
being
consistent
like,
series, and it sells like hotcakes in Japan. So,
yeah.
yeah,
It's one of those. I really want to try one of them out. I think either Zero or the first one. Well, you said that Kiwami is that the remake of the first one was actually
yeah,
on PS4. It was one of the free games.
yeah. So what really got me interested in it was that the PS4 PlayStation Plus gave Yakuza Kiwami away a few months ago as a
I better have
freebie,
gotten that
and
because I always try to pick them up. So
yeah, and that's really cool because that is the technically it's the first game in the series or the remake of the first game in the series, and there's even Yakuza Kiwami 2 out right now, which is a full remake of the second game. So they're taking the PS2 ones, which are harder to find and look really dated by modern standards, and they're polishing them up.
yeah, that's cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and if it's anything like Twin Snakes or something, it's just like just play that. There's no reason to to really
Yeah.
go spring for the PlayStation 2 version.
Though Nick and I were actually talking about Metal Gear: The Twin Snakes a little while ago, and that's kind of
Oh
an
yeah,
interesting example to use because even though it does very faithfully recreate the scenario of the first game, that one was really weird for a number of reasons.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it didn't quite. How do I say it? The director of that game seemed to have a fetish for the Matrix, and not like the parts of the Matrix you know and love. He really like overdid the action sequences in that game
really.
in a weird
That's
way too, because like we established that the first Metal Gear Solid out of all of the series was the one that was kind of most firmly established in reality,
in reality. Yeah.
and all of a sudden Snake's like backflipping off of missiles that are being fired at him, and
Oh geez.
yeah,
Mix,
to use a moderate example.
yeah, mix some Contra kind of physics in there.
Right.
That's interesting.
It
I
was
always heard it was.
bizarre.
I mean, heard it was a solid game, which I guess it is.
It
But
is, yeah.
I never
It's
heard
very
anything
playable,
like
and
that.
it does a
I
it
heard
does
it
a
was pretty
wonderful
faithful.
yeah, it does a wonderful job gameplay wise of translating the familiar setting into the much superior Metal Gear Solid 2 gameplay. But
Yeah.
man, those it's very off-putting then to see the cutscenes get the treatment they got.
That's interesting.
Oh boy, what if we? Oh, this is just oxygen. Cool, unlimited oxygen. All right. While I try to figure out this damn room.
Yeah, the Steam sale, and what they have 2, 3, because they have a spring sale, usually a summer sale. They usually have a sale sometime around Christmas or so, I think.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about their sale model because looking at your list of all
Of
these
unplayed
games,
games,
yeah, and then like the Dreamcast collection, like you have Space Channel. It's like, why the hell do you have Space Channel 5 Part 2?
Because
and
it
Sega
was
Bass
because it was
Fishing?
only 50 cents more to get those included than it was just to get a Crazy Taxi and what's the skating one?
Or it wasn't Tony Hawk.
No, it was
That would be awesome.
The God damn it, what is that game called?
Skating?
Yeah, it's a really famous Dreamcast game. You go around graffitiing and
Jet Grind Radio,
Jet Grind
or now
Radio,
they call it Jet Set Radio these
Yes.
days. But
right.
yeah, freaking awesome game. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I was just gonna buy those too, but I'm like, hey, you know what? There's a little collection here, and
50
I'll
cents
get
more.
I'll get Sonic Adventure. So why the hell not?
Seriously. Oh man.
And so now I have Sega Bass Fishing, and yeah. No
who would have
real
thought
intention to
almost
play
giving
that.
games away for that price would be a good sale model? But they are getting money they wouldn't
right.
otherwise get.
They got
because
the
you're not
extra
going to play
50
those
cents.
games.
Yeah.
But you're like, well, it's so cheap. I
was comparing it to like when you go to Sam's Club and it's like, a 50 pack of Kraft macaroni and cheese for like $12. I'm not gonna fucking eat 50 packs of Kraft macaroni and cheese, but it's too cheap not to buy.
Yeah, they got you.
All right, so we've
And then
activated
people are gonna be
Cerebro
like,
here.
5 years from now, it's still going to be good because it's freaking Kraft mac and cheese, and you're going to be like, "This is old. I should go."
Yeah,
get
this
some
is
more."
it's gonna be occupying my my pantry space with the gigantic box of Twinkies. They'll never get eaten, but what? Why can't I? I want it though.
Just reach for it like a baby.
I just want it.
But I want oxygen. Why don't you cry
Please,
about
I want to breathe. Wow, this is cruel. Did you see that shit?
Look at that poor unevolved human reaching pathetically for its oxygen.
Please, God.
Oh, what the hell?
There is no God. Space is uncaring and random.
I'm thinking about Space Odyssey, where just the reaching out when what is that when you see the frickin', I can't even remember the trippy part of the movie, but
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, like
just
the
reaching
trippy.
out,
I mean,
like,
the whole thing is pretty trippy, but for
yeah,
me,
it's
though,
true.
the most trippy is the beginning, where it takes you like through the history of man for a second.
oh yeah, Monolith. That's what that frickin'
Yeah.
thing's called. Yeah,
The monolith. Oh my God,
you find it in space.
it's a fucked up movie in retrospect. That and like
is a pretty
the
fucked up-
like 70s and 80s did some really weird experimental shit. Like
Yeah,
you look like a Clockwork Orange. Oh my God!
I was just thinking,
you
you know
couldn't
what?
make
That's
that movie.
so-
You could not make that movie today. No one
That's so
would.
interesting.
No one would bankroll
You
it.
brought that up, yeah. Kubrick in general, like
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange, Full Metal Jacket.
There is not a
Space Odyssey.
single studio in Hollywood that would ever pick up a Clockwork Orange today. I
No.
mean, if it were a new property, like the fact that it's a cinematic
or
classic,
they would
do
fuck
but-
it up. Like
Right.
you would see someone pick it up and turn it into a horror movie.
Yeah,
And be like objective, like Hostel or something like that. Where it's like, no, it has all the violence of a movie like that,
yeah,
but that's not what it's about at all. Like,
you're exactly right.
yeah, and they would turn it into a horror movie. It's just like, no, they wouldn't market it how it's supposed to be marketed, because people would go in and be freaked out and outraged that it was so violent.
Yeah,
and
you
not
are correct.
expecting it. So yeah, you're right. They probably wouldn't make it.
I'm kind of
the way
going
they
through
made
here
it.
because I think maybe this is where I should go, but I don't quite know. Like back the way I came, sort of. I guess we'll. Oh, hey.
Is
here's
this the
something.
way you came?
Yes.
That I don't know how you. I mean, I get distracted easily talking about shit, but I also would be so lost in this game, even if I was paying complete attention to it.
The zero grav thing, it's really unique and really fun, but it makes for some very bizarre and off-putting scenarios. Because like, if the radar were better implemented,
I mean, you have a map. It's not the greatest, but
Yeah.
at least you have a map. It doesn't.
Without
work
that, it'd
the
be
best
impossible.
in 3D space.
right?
But yeah, this is why I couldn't beat games like Descent. Like
Yeah.
as cool as it was and as great as the soundtrack was for Descent 2, it was just totally free space, and I would get fucking lost.
Yep. I know it.
I get lost in real life. I definitely get lost in a video game like this, especially when everything just looks like
Okay, so
freaking
now where does it want me to go?
like Curse of Darkness, all the same, just spaceship.
Yeah, and that's right. That's another kind of curse of this game is that while everything does look good, it all looks the same.
Yeah, I mean, I get this is probably how Space Station would look.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of hard to knock it, but so I'm still playing. I was just talking about games as far as like what we're working
Uncompleted
on.
projects, yeah.
Yeah, we've kind of dropped, like, as far as like projects me and Addy are playing together. We've dropped Kingdom Hearts 3 because it's like we can finish that at some other point, but it really is not catching my interest at all. So it's just like
Really?
kind of don't like that I paid full price for it because it's just
That's really
it's-
good to know because that, like I said, I am just replayed Kingdom Hearts 1. I'm about to replay Kingdom Hearts 2 at some point in the near future,
Yeah.
in preparation for 3. But again, that's a series that has been like lukewarm for me at best. So Kingdom Hearts 3 may very well be a game that I wait to pick up for like the $20 range.
I feel like, I mean, the story of both of them is like 1 and 2 is like, I like the Disney. As far as gameplay, 1 and 2 are definitely better than 3, and 2 I think just has the tightest.
Yeah.
And the remake or final remix has the tightest gameplay of them all, to the point where like it definitely takes some skill and some timing. The first one,
okay,
maybe a little bit, but I feel like you became like super powerful, especially in final remix in the first one, where you just got like crazy powerful. But the second one, that kind of happens, but it's also just very tight and very quick. It's just quick, good gameplay. And then the third one is so floaty.
Really loose. Yeah.
It's very loose. You always feel very powerful. You never feel like you're in trouble. I'm playing on the normal mode. I probably should have put it on the harder difficulty, but I was like, I want to enjoy the story. Well, yeah, it's not really happening.
That was one thing that I kind of had some beef with about 15. I really liked 15, but there were parts of it, like there were I barely used magic ever in that game. And it did feel like super floaty at some points.
The magic, I would almost always, it was almost always friendly fire. I would almost always get people in the area of effect. And they weren't even, because the AI was dumb, they were, fighting how they should have been fighting. It's just, with that huge area of effect, if it's going to hurt them, what's going to happen? They're always going to get hurt. So it's a shame because the magic looked pretty cool in that game. I liked that it affected, like, even FF7 Remake. I think that game, the graphics look better than 15 for sure. And I like how they're implementing the magic, at least what I've seen so far, even though it doesn't look like it's going to be part of your quick slashes. It's just going to be something from the menu.
Which is the way to go.
Yeah, and it's more classic, But I liked the area of effect in 15. It looked
but I was not overall a fan of the magic system in that game.
No, me either. Not at all.
Hello. What was that?
And you couldn't use it all that often until you got a whole bunch of...
Is that just...
of the flasks. You gotta
avoid
that.
To go this way,
avoid all these things. No, I think you'd just stay far away from those.
Alright.
I
think we're good. Oh shit, I'm about out of oxygen.
Oh, that's right, you got your jetpacks and stuff a little bit. Well, hopefully there's a big old bottle on the other end of this.
There sure as shit better be. I can't tell because
you hold your breath while you open
the stakes never really rise in this, so I'm not sure if we're nearing the end or not.
Yeah, right?
All I know is I need fucking oxygen. There we go.
Is this okay? Good.
Now, those are really the only stakes that are ever present. Okay, I think I went the right way because now the arrow's pointing to my right. But there is something back here that I can pick up. No, don't whack it. Come on.
You whack it into space. You just see it in the distance, burning in the atmosphere.
I am just ping-ponging around this goddamn room right now.
June 2037.
There we go. I'm gonna need more oxygen after that little ping-pong action that I just went through. So, what are some games that are on your short list for the Steam sale, if anything?
For the Steam sale?
Anything you see?
I mean, honestly, maybe the Yakuza game. As far as the newer games, maybe just a future proof when hopefully this year we get a new.
I was gonna say, because you don't really have a
6.
gaming rig yet, so I'm not sure if you could run Yakuza. But if you want to pick up the next one in the series, like Kiwami 2 or something like that, and that way we can like just kind of, if we really get into them, we can play a couple of them.
Yeah.
So like I just picked up Zero. We already had Kiwami from the PS4.
Yeah, from the PS4. Oh jeez.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
All right, being knocked off into orbit here. That'd be hilarious.
There wasn't a whole lot and now I just took kind of a cursory glance. Like 2 days ago, and it was like I saw Soul Calibur 6 for like $19 or something.
That's
like that.
like out of the newer games, that's probably the best deal.
Yeah, for how new that game is, I was like, wow, that's really
and supposedly really good too.
Yeah, the DLC definitely interests me, like all like Geralt and 2B, like I'm all about this, So, and it seems like they've kind of fixed the fighting mechanic again, because I thought 4 had like a really good fight. I didn't care for 5 very much.
I'm gonna be honest with you,
good.
I haven't played past 2.
That's okay. 3 was skippable. 4 was like my second favorite. 1 and 4 are where it's at.
Okay.
So 6 I haven't played yet, but I've heard a lot of good.
I've heard good. I've heard if you haven't played since 1, you can pick up 6 and still feel at home.
Oh yeah, that's what it seems like.
So
I would be interested in picking that up. As far as like some of the other stuff, it seems like there's a lot of good sales, but it's stuff that I either already own or I would want on a different system.
Okay.
I already got Hollow Knight. That's a pretty good deal.
What do you have Hollow Knight on? Do you have that on PC?
On the Switch.
Okay.
And it was $7. It was either $7 or $7.99 on the Switch.
Dude.
So I picked it up then. Yeah. What else? There were. I feel like there was something else.
Steam has a bunch of porn games now, apparently, that are supposedly legal and pretty passable, so...
I have to go... It was
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I don't know how I made that.
But, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot that interested me. So, I'm not too excited about the Steam sale right now.
Okay.
Was it... Wait.
I'm really curious...
It wasn't Symphony of the Night. It was. I feel like it was. Was it a Castlevania game?
Are you thinking Bloodstained?
I feel like it wasn't Bloodstained. Although Bloodstained, I am interested in picking that up. Like at some point, not the Switch version yet, and maybe I'm gonna wait until they because apparently there was like some game-breaking bug that you couldn't progress.
Oh, really?
And they apparently fixed it, but people who already started a new save, have to restart their game.
Dude, that sucks. I have not heard about this. Yeah, that really sucks.
That's like a crazy bad. And they're like, okay, the new patch, fixes something, but if you started a new game without the patch, you can't. There's no way to fix it already. Like you have to. So if people are like 8, and this glitch apparently doesn't happen until you're like a few hours in, like 8 or 10 hours in or something like that, and you can't progress. And this is like the worst type of game for something like that to happen, because in a Metroidvania game, what's your first thought? I'm like, if I can't progress, I'm like, well, obviously I'm stupid. Right. I missed something, I there's a room I haven't. So I would be going for hours thinking, what the fuck did I miss before I Googled it? I heard about it, thankfully. That's like the worst. Well,
I'm glad they're addressing it. Yeah.
Yeah. In any other game series, in any other genre, I feel like something like that would be pretty apparent. But in a Castlevania or a Metroid type game, that's like, what am I doing wrong?
What just happened?
You really needed that oxygen.
Yeah, I did. Oh God, look at it barreling towards Earth. Oh.
I think you can get it. Oh no, is it gonna bounce off?
Come on, Jesus. Oh no!
Why?
Oh, we're dead.
What did you even hit?
Well, that
I guess these things, the electricity.
Yep.
All right. You were so close.
I was like, she had it in her hand, and then she got shocked. Now she got shocked again. Oh no!
I feel like we might have taught for Bloodstained. There was that trailer where Igarashi was like it was basically all these tweets and YouTube comments being like, "This game looks like trash."
Yeah, and he's like,
And
"Well, fuck
Igarashi
you
was like,
guys. I'm
"Well,
just gonna
fuck
redo
you."
it." Yeah, right.
Did we talk about that trailer?
I
'Cause
talked
feel
about
like-
it a little bit with Nick. I know
okay,
that
because I was
but
surprised. Like
they
that
just
game was
listened and
looking
they
that way.
revamped it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was like no updates for that game, no major updates for like a long time, for like months.
Uh-huh.
And then they came out with that trailer. They're like, okay, yeah, the whole game looks different. And it was like, what? Like what? And it looked a lot better.
It
like I
did.
think they really changed the look for the better.
For sure.
Because I remember I was never like, oh, this game's horrible looking, but I was like, it's plain.
Bland. Yeah, very
it
bland.
looks like a Kickstarter game,
Mhm.
And then they did that trailer, and I was like, this looks a lot like they added kind of a more of a cell shading,
Yeah.
flair to it. I think it looks great.
I was gonna say it's
So-
kind of interesting too that you mentioned Kickstarter games because I just picked up on the Steam sale the Cosmic Star Heroine, which I'm kind of rolling the dice with because
Was that a Kickstarter, or is
Yeah,
that
it
just
was.
an indie?
No,
Okay,
it's an indie Kickstarter, but it's affordable enough, that it's not really rolling the dice, but it's a Chrono Trigger style RPG, 16-bit, meant to purposefully to recapture. Oh God. Oh, I'm so glad we're not playing in
like
VR.
you're just getting kicked around by space.
I am
now.
so glad we're not playing in VR right now. Because seeing what I just look at the Earth right now.
Hubris of humanity.
That's freaky, man.
It's like,
This is bad. This is bad news, Bears.
I feel like this would also be like really messed up if you were playing like on a 70+ inch TV
Yeah, I'd probably puke.
in the dark.
I'd probably puke pretty good right now. Okay.
So I was
So
gonna
yeah,
say Ghost
Cosmic Star Heroine.
So Cosmic Star Hero, okay. So I didn't know it was a
Heroine,
Kickstarter.
you're a girl. You're a girl.
Okay. Cosmic Star Heroine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna get out of it. Truthfully, it may.
Oh, is it $5?
Yeah, like $6 maybe.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
That's exactly right. It
I
may
didn't
end up being
realize it
kind of a
was, like,
poor
such a-
imitation of the games that it's trying to mimic, but even then, it could still be good. Hey, we get
Yeah,
another
you can-
Sonata here.
There's a Switch game, because you talk about how it kind of takes inspiration, like kind of clear inspiration from like Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it's called like Blossom Princess something. It always goes on
Blossom
sale.
Princess.
But it's like literally such a Zelda clone. It's not even funny. They don't hide it. Like Boomerang, all this stuff. Like you look at it, it's like, oh, it's a new Zelda game, but it's not.
Right. Like that's
and
exactly what they
it'll
were
go-
going for. Huh?
It'll go as cheap as like $4 on Switch sometimes. It's usually like $10 or something. And it's like, I always think, well, why not? I mean, if it gets cheap, why don't I just pick this game up? And if it's garbage, it's garbage. But I'm going to have
Right.
fun being like, oh, they tried. Oh,
Yeah.
they got close. And comparing and contrasting at least. So I
Right.
really should. And the Switch is made for those kind of games. Yeah.
So speaking of
So-
Nintendo games that kind of came out of nowhere, well, actually, this one has a really interesting story. There's this game that I read about in oh man, it must have been like PS. Do you remember PSM, PlayStation Monthly, like the unofficial PlayStation
Yeah.
magazine? So there
I
was this
remember 'cause
RPG
they usually
that
had
they
like sexy drawings on the front.
yeah, they had really good artwork in it.
Yeah.
They reviewed this PS1 RPG, like one of the very first months that I ever subscribed to their magazine, back when you subscribed to gaming magazines in the 90s.
Yeah, right.
It was called Rhapsody, a musical adventure. It was a PS1 RPG, sprite-based, looked kind of like
I
FF6.
remember the cover of that.
But
I know
it was,
exactly what you're talking
but it was
about.
a musical game, and
Yeah.
it really intrigued me at the time, and I could never find it. But apparently, a version of it for either the DS or 3DS came out a couple of years ago, and I saw it used not too long ago, and didn't have the money to pick it up on me, so I figured I'd come back the next day, and it was gone. I'm still kicking myself.
Wow.
Yeah,
Where did
so
you see
that
it?
was a really obscure. It was just at a used game store here in Bloomington.
Okay. I feel like the original DS had some weird games and ports on it. That's so weird.
Yeah.
I feel like
Weird
they
is
kind of
right.
just threw it was another like kind of throwing the kitchen sink and every so there's a lot of crappy games on the DS, but there's a lot of gems too.
There were, and I mean, if possible, I may still even like look to pick up the PS1 original of that game. But it was just such an odd like thing to, and it like jogged my memory. Like all of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, I meant to pick this up. Oh, 16 years ago. Holy shit.
Wow.
Isn't that wild when stuff like that happens? Where Like
It felt like, oh yeah, this was like last year. It's like,
yeah,
no.
it's like, oh, this is something I've been meaning to... Like, I feel that way every time I reapproach the Saga Frontier games, or or Parasite Eve 2, where it's like, yeah, it's just on my short list of games to play for 20 fucking years.
Yeah. That is crazy. And our brain plays tricks on us like that.
It does.
Because it's just like, oh yeah, this is something I remember that I kind of forgot about.
Just kind of
it could be 2 years
sidelining,
ago, it could be 20 years.
Yeah, right. I've been meaning to pick it up and play it, but then lo and behold, it's literally been 20 years. It's like, oh, another game that I've been doing that with is Dragon Quest VI on the DS. Because I played 4 and 5. I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan. I just never got the opportunity to pick up 6, and I kept saying that I was going to do it. And now it's going for like $80 on eBay in package.
Dude,
yeah, I know.
What system was that PlayStation 1 that originally came out for? 6?
Dragon Quest 6, no, it was an SNES game, but it got a DS re-release.
Gotcha. Oh, and so even the DS version is going for that much? Or is it just hard to find?
No, it was fair. I remember seeing it like Walmart all the time when it first came out, and I just never picked it up, assuming that it would always be that easy to pick up.
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, right? Oh, God.
Speaking of Dragon Quest, oh, jeez. Oh, Jesus.
Thread the needle. Thread the needle. We threaded the needle. We made it.
If I were to, leading up to Dragon Quest 11, say if I were to get it, because at this point, if I'm getting it on Switch, like, definitely.
Oh,
there's not even going to be like any kind of
there's going to be like extra
degradation
content and everything, even.
Yeah, that's like the place to get it. But if I'm going to play, let's say like 3 Dragon Quest games, but 11 is going to be the third one. So if I'm going to play 2 Dragon Quest games to get a feel for the series and kind of leading up to 11, which 2 would you recommend if it can only be 2?
Okay, so 2 besides 11, 5 and 8.
Yeah. I was thinking 8. 8 was kind of like almost for sure I'm gonna play 8.
Yeah, I would say 7, but I'm gonna guess you don't have 170 hours to throw away right now.
Was 7? Because so 6 was on the SNES. Wasn't 7 on the PlayStation 2? Was there kind of a big break? It was PS1. Okay.
PS1. And 5 was also on the SNES, but but it had a much more kind of NES style vibe. Oh my God, I'm gonna die again in here. Shit.
Again, wow. Didn't expect that to shock you though.
It shocked me. It looked like I should interact with it, so I went up to it and just like, nope, you're dead now.
It's like a big friendly brain or something. Right? Hey, save me! I'm
a big friendly brain floating in space.
Obviously,
have we
humanity
learned nothing from Hal? Oh my God.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's exactly where the story's going, isn't it? Like the rogue AI.
I think so.
Yeah.
They keep showing this freaking company, and they introduced it in the beginning like it's one of the companies that made the game. So
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't been paying attention to like the narrative pieces of this at all. Like I assumed that it was kind of a fairly straightforward. You're simply stranded in space, and your goal is to find an escape pod and drift back to Earth. I didn't expect there to actually be like all of these memos and things that you can pick up and kind of piece together what happened. So I may end up looking up what happened later after I actually beat this.
I kept assuming, and I guess it is a VR game. Other systems like Vive and stuff.
Right.
I assumed, there's still a bias. I think I have.
Yeah, it's just the experience.
It's a VR game. There's not really any story. And it seems like there kind of is.
Yeah, there definitely is here.
These BioShock type memos and recordings and stuff, and it's like okay.
Yeah, this one definitely has.
You know what? I didn't even see that. So you basically kissed it right on the frickin' shocker.
Yep, right in the mouth. I French kissed an electrical node there. Good God, though. Holy crap.
So Dragon Quest V, is that the... Dragon Quest IV is the one with the islands and stuff that you're repairing, and it's...
No, that's 7.
Like, humongous. Oh, that's 7?
Dragon Quest IV is also really good, but it's just an NES... Okay. It's for an NES game, it's actually really deep. But it's definitely an NES game.
Okay, so that's 7, and you're suggesting 5 and 8.
Again,
8 was
5
like
and 8.
I really want to play 8,
throw 7 into the mix somewhere in there if you really, really get into the series. But
what do you like about 5?
So 5 is really 5 is like the darling of the series in Japan. Like
Okay.
characters from that game frequently show up in cameos and like other mediums.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's a really good story. It kind of encapsulates very well what Dragon Quest is all about, and it's an SNES game, so it's a good 20 to 30 hour project. It's not going to break your time bank really.
Okay.
8 is not going to be as long as 7, but it's still definitely a long game. Like if you do the end game stuff in that, you're probably looking at about 90 hours total, but maybe like 40 to 50 to get through the main campaign.
Okay. Now they got some meaty endgame stuff.
They do, yeah.
I'm thinking of like the later Final Fantasies, like 9 or I guess like 10 onward, because like 10, 13, 10 especially had like a huge endgame.
Yeah.
Okay. Even
I'm
though
still,
a lot of it was in the freaking monster arena, but
like 10 right now. Still bitter about that one. That I'm never gonna do that. Because I would love to fight Penance, but holy shit.
Once you really get into it, it's really not so bad. It's all about, because you're always doing something different, slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you do all the prep work and all the, I mean, also part of it, it depends on how much you like Blitzball. Getting Waka stuff was a really pain in the ass for me.
Yeah.
But
See,
once I did that,
Waka,
and
I did,
fighting
like
all
the
monsters,
Blitzball minigame,
capturing
like
them.
I was actually okay with Blitzball and getting Wakas. Lulu's drove me nuts. Kimari's I remember being oddly frustrating, even though it was pretty quick.
The butterfly thing sucked.
And then
yeah.
Tidus is like I've had playthroughs of that where like I get it almost instantly, and ones where I'm working at it like 2 hours and I just can't get past the damn birds.
The first time I ever did it on PS2, it took me a couple hours. And then I can't remember if I did this in front of you or if it was just at my house in front of Addie.
Where you just nailed it. Yeah.
I got it on the first try, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was so scared of it. And then I got it, and I was like,
it's
0
all
seconds
it's
early.
luck. I'm sure it's luck.
Part
You
of it
just
is
have to
luck,
get
those
lucky.
damn birds. Yeah. But the butterfly one might be the hardest, I consider. The lightning thing for Lulu, there's a trick to it.
Yeah, I
just
know,
takes
where
a
you go to
little
that
while.
crater.
It's definitely the scariest.
It is, because you
get
can
to-
fuck it
you're-
up in
you
one
gotta-
blow.
Yeah, and you're counting it, and it literally takes almost half an hour if
Yep.
you're doing it quickly. Like,
Yeah.
it's so nerve-wracking.
It's not good.
So I always do that one first.
I've actually only ever got it once, and that's in the
Yeah.
PS4 remake.
Okay. Yeah, but it's once you kind of build up the techniques to like level up the sphere grid, when you actually get to the leveling up part,
This
that's
game is
pretty
longer
quick.
than I thought. Yeah.
Well, this is like the third one of these you've gotten at least. Yeah, and that part's fun, where you're just like, okay, now I get to like go through the entire sphere grid in a couple hours, you know, and just make your person crazy.
Right.
But
That was kind of cool about FF10, that you could just create like this party of like god characters.
yeah,
Just
basically,
unstoppable.
and where it's almost like all about just the quick hit and summoning to sacrifice them.
quick hit, yeah.
Yuna and Lulu taking 100,000 on their crappy little attacks.
Yeah, right. Dunk. 100,000. Oh boy, where am
Everyone
I
having
going
auto
next?
haste.
All right. So do you think I'm supposed to go
Swimming in
there?
space. They keep showing something that looks like that. You're supposed to put it on some, but
I'm thinking maybe over here. Yeah, here we go.
Okay, yeah. They showed something that looked like that, so you gotta put the panel on.
Oh my
there.
god, look at those electric currents. I'm gonna get fucked in here.
Yep.
I'm about to get wrecked. Riggedy wrecked.
Wow, that really kind of Death Starred on you for some reason. I
It
felt
did.
like you were gonna be able to come up to this thing and hold it in your hand.
Hey, so, random thought now, too. We haven't talked about this yet. While we're just shooting the shit here, what are your thoughts on Star Wars Episode 9? Have we talked at all about this? Like, what do you think Palpatine's role is?
Not really, and I don't know. I've thought about it.
Oh,
It's
look,
like,
one of
what
my
are you gonna
friend's
do?
corpses.
Wow,
That's,
he's just chilling there.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
dead.
Yeah.
He is dead.
He's definitely dead.
The penitent. Alright. Well, now, wait a
Interesting.
minute. Where's it want me to go? Over here? I guess over
I have no
here.
idea. I'm just so confused by what the not that they're doing anything. necessarily. It's kind of like, first of all, the title throws me off like crazy. Second of all, I'm just thinking the reaction to episode 8 was pretty strong. And I think when it first came out, it was very divisive, but it was like 50-50, you know?
Yeah.
Half the people were like, this movie's great, it took a lot of risks, and half the people were like, oh, this ruined it, it's so terrible, and there was no in-between. Now I feel like
I'm overall in the positive camp, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like now the overall narrative has kind of settled on it had issues. You know,
it did.
That's kind of weird.
But I still think overall it was a worthwhile project.
I think so too. I think so for sure. But it's almost like they've talked about things like, oh, we might retcon some things. And it's like, wait, what?
Why?
From episode 8?
Why would you fucking do that?
That's crazy. They're gonna change directors, which was always gonna happen. I think they're
going
back to
What's his name?
Yeah,
from episode 7. J.J. Abrams,
Yeah.
thank you. To kind of like set the series back on course, which I'm not sure I agree with. I mean, Ryan, it wasn't perfect, but Ryan Johnson did his thing. I mean,
I guess my biggest, and you know, I did have my issue that I didn't think it was bad. I think the biggest issue was that they really have to make the B story worth it somehow in episode 9, because as it stands right now, Finn and Rose and them kind of were fucking off on this part of the galaxy,
and that's one part that I kind of agree with. It ultimately, what did the casino planet really matter? Like not much at all.
No, unless there's some,
like the kid at the end who kind of had like force powers. Like what?
Yeah.
Unless they're really going to do something with that, other than to say like, hey, the universe is bigger than just the Skywalkers. Which, you know, I've been a Star Wars fan for 20 years. I already knew that. You know, I didn't need to remind that. But I'm actually here to figure out
has a Skywalker name in it.
Right? Yeah, I'm here to figure out what happened to the Skywalkers. So yeah, those parts I agree. Those were a little lackluster, but overall, I still enjoyed the movie.
I think when Episode 8 first came out, they said that was it Renner? So what's his name? The director, I can't remember, something Renner or something. That he was going to do like his.
Renner? Is that?
Nah, I think that's the actor. I think that's
that's the actor.
Reiner.
That's Hawkeye. You're right.
Hawkeye.
Yep.
But whoever the director was, Renner or something, he was going to like do his own trilogy that had nothing to do with this trilogy, and I think it got dropped.
Yeah, after Solo. Yeah, after Solo, Disney got cold feet with the whole expanded. Movies.
They had the whole Boba Fett movie, and then they dropped that, or they delayed it indefinitely.
They're incorporating it into the Mandalorian series,
which is on Disney Plus.
I think
like a series that's going to come out.
Yeah, I
later.
think it's supposed to be like the killer app for Disney Plus, maybe.
Okay.
Not 100% sure.
Which I don't know. Like Solo 1, I haven't seen Solo yet. I still need to see.
Really?
I've heard it's not bad.
I enjoyed it.
It's like
I think it was just
badly.
I think it was just too much too fast for people.
Yeah,
more than anything.
And I don't know. I think when it comes to Star Wars doing one a year, like you don't have to do that. At the same time, I don't think any of the movies have been bad.
No,
you know, maybe
I agree.
If anything, it's just people are going to get fatigued.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what Solo was.
Yeah, and I think maybe they kind of realized that, and they saw it in the sales, which again, not bad. I think any other studio would be happy.
Right,
they're
but it's
just
Disney,
like for their Star Wars.
If it doesn't light the world
series,
on fire, then they're not happy. Yeah,
it's a failure. Yeah,
right. And speaking of that too, are you aware of the twist at the end with that one?
I have heard of. Are you talking about Darth Maul?
Yeah. Okay. That felt really, 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 really forced to me.
Oh, really?
If anything, that was the weakest. Like where everyone else was freaking out about it. It's like, oh my god, Maul! I'm like, what the fuck, Maul? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like he couldn't have had less to do with the whole god. Like, I would have much rather have just seen like a cameo from Jabba the Hutt or something, and like kind of throw that like, oh, Solo's about to get into some bad company, haha.
Yeah, Jabba's actually a big player.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I know the Sith are too, but they're behind the scenes players.
Yeah, they pull Maul completely out of left field, and like he makes no sense in the context of that film.
That's when Star Wars is not doing so good. It's like, guys, the galaxy is huge.
Like, hey, you remember how much you love Darth Maul? Well, here he is. And like,
exactly.
Why,
it's like, why are you shrinking the galaxy? right now? Why
Yeah.
are you? And that's what the prequels did. Oh, remember this from the original trilogy? Yeah. Why are you bringing it back? That seems forced. Like, there's so much more going on.
Yeah.
But Anakin built 3PO, really? Like, all this stuff has to
You're
be
like, who
connected.
gives a shit? And like there was one part in Rogue One where they did that, and it's when they're on the planet Jeddah and they run into those two dudes who get fucked up by Obi-Wan in the bar on Tatooine. It's like, why even fucking have them there? Like, that doesn't add shit. You remember that?
I never noticed that at all.
Because it's so damn forgettable. Because it had no reason to be in there.
So.
And
Yeah,
Rogue One is actually probably my favorite new Star Wars movie in a while.
I was about to say, it is my favorite of the new. Like, I love The Force Awakens.
Me too.
I think 7 is really good.
Yes, for me it goes though Rogue One, 7, 8 out of the brand new ones.
Yep, exactly for me too. Rogue One was just so good.
With
I was
Solo
surprised
kind
by
of
how much I liked it.
Solo and 8 kind of tie each other for me.
Yeah, I really got to see Solo. But,
it's worth seeing. Especially since it's free on Netflix.
It's free on Netflix, exactly.
Like, you have no excuse.
There's no excuse.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rogue One, I find very little fault in it, honestly.
Yeah.
And I could sit here and praise it all day.
Yeah, Rogue One, I really like for like, it actually fills in an interesting narrative gap in the Star Wars universe. It goes out of its way not to focus on the Jedi, which is really cool because it actually feels like a war movie in space.
It does, and you know it's the Star Wars galaxy, but there's like, I don't know if there's a single lightsaber in it.
Until
the
Vader
Force is
the
there,
end, yeah.
but
and when Vader finally does
right.
show up, that just makes it all the cooler because
again,
like, you kind of get to see what Vader and the Jedi in general kind of look like to these, like, lowly outsiders, you know, these workaday stiffs. And it's like, oh my god, can you imagine just being a random soldier on this ship, and all of a sudden this fucking space wizard comes at you with murder in his eyes? I mean, holy crap.
Yeah. Like, you kind of forget, because it focuses on the Skywalkers, most of the series focuses on these Jedi, which especially, right, like, after the prequels, the Jedi are rare. There's almost no Jedi.
That's right.
And yet, that's all we see we see a lot of Jedi in all the movies. So yeah, like you said, kind of these people, the Jedi and people who have mastery over the Force, which almost no one does, they're seen as like crazy,
freaks.
not like gods, but they're like powerful freaks of nature.
Like, you do not want to be around them, basically.
Exactly. So you kind of forget that watching the original movies, but yeah, with that, it's like being a random soldier and seeing Darth Vader, who's one of the most powerful of the Force users. It's like, must be
that would be a
pants-shittingly terrifying.
Yeah, really bad day. And like I said, I think they nailed that with that scene, because for the whole movie, it's almost like, you know, no Star Wars movie can ever be realistic, but it was like realistic, you know? And then all of a sudden Vader comes out at the very end, and you're like, holy shit, that was just good cinematography. It was perfect dramatic timing, and when Vader, like, tore his way through that corridor, like, in a weird way, you were rooting for Vader for a second there, because he's a familiar character, and it's like the Vader of old. It's almost like an entire scene apologizing for how Vader was treated in the prequels.
Sorta. That's how I felt too. I mean, I'm glad James Earl Jones is still around, you know.
Fortunately, there's voice
voices.
synthesizers that can very accurately reproduce James Earl Jones' Vader right now. So even when he's gone, I mean, it will be a sad day when he's filmed his last, you know, scene as Darth Vader. But
yeah,
it's
sure
not like, yeah. Unlike, you know, the thing that was off-putting for Solo is seeing someone who's not Harrison Ford step into the role. But once you like got over the fact that it wasn't Harrison Ford, like, the guy I don't know his name, truth be told, because I haven't seen him in anything else. He gave a really admirable performance. He manages to nail Harrison Ford's mannerisms without looking a damn thing like Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
and that's got to be really intimidating and hard to do.
I feel like Solo was a movie. They did some reshoots, didn't they? Like,
yeah, because the tone was originally a little too dark. Yeah.
Yeah, not common for. They've never done that with the Star Wars movies. Disney movies in general usually don't. That's a DC move right there.
Right. Yeah. Like
but
what
they
they did with
didn't. I
Suicide
think
Squad.
it was the Suicide Squad, Justice League, like so many things, which was just like ugh. But I don't think they had confidence in the movie too much, and I think part of it was
No.
also the lead actor, who I don't know his name either. Apparently, they wanted to a lot of scenes they didn't like how it looked or how he played it, so they made him redo a lot of scenes too. Is what I've heard.
Yeah.
And I'm
Which
trying
again
to, I
has
don't
to be
remember if he
frustrating
ever
as an
was or not.
actor, because it's like, dude,
You're in
I'm
a
not
shadow.
Harrison Ford, but
Yeah.
here I am
and
trying.
I don't fault him. That's not the movie's fault or anything like that. Harrison, but like Han Solo's a huge character,
Right.
but you're also making a movie. You're the ones that decided to make a movie focusing on his younger self. So
Right.
hey, you knew what the challenge was.
And the nice thing was there's like some nod winks to the original, like they show the Kepler run and all of that stuff, like you would expect them to do.
Yeah.
But they don't really go for any low-hanging fruit. There's not like a scene where he's like, man, if I ever have a son, I hope he's not a Jedi. There's no stupid shit like that.
Yeah,
You knew going into
groan.
this you were going to see like some nods to The Empire Strikes Back with him and Lando. You knew you were going to see a reference to the Kepler run and Han shooting first and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You knew those were coming. And they deliver them, in a tongue-in-cheek way, but also in a rewarding way. So those are good. And there's not like I hope I never have kids because they'll just stab you in the back or something like that.
Oh my God, that would be that would just be funny at how horrible it is.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
really?
like I'm never gonna marry a princess.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
So they didn't wink at the
the inevitability of his demise and his character arc,
or just the fact that the jokes or anything about Harrison Ford in general. That it's just like, hey, here's what happened, without being like, whoa, guys.
Right. They basically
Han Solo
established
does
him as kind of like a naive kid who, by the end of the movie, he's not hardened, but he's definitely more streetwise. He's like, okay, this is just the smuggler life, and I have to get used to these hard knocks, and they deliver that well, I think.
Okay. Now that reminds me of Lupin a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it's like he never loses his personality.
He's a good guy from start to finish, but at the end of it, he's like, okay, I'm gonna have to make some moral sacrifices to get by in this galaxy,
Yeah. Still a thief, still a smuggler, but wised up.
Right.
Basically.
Yes.
And never kind of losing his charm or losing his personality, but maybe just a bit smarter.
Yeah, exactly. And aside from the Darth Maul thing, there's nothing like really super like this changes everything. Like how you completely understood Han Solo or his place in the universe. There's nothing like that.
Okay.
In a few ways, it's actually very safe. Like if they had somehow managed to de-age Harrison Ford by 40 years, I almost feel like it would have been a smashing success.
It's interesting how Disney's getting so good with these, either bringing characters back or de-aging them. I think de-aging them especially, because you think about. Okay, so like the Harry Potter movies, I guess making people look older with makeup and stuff is not the easiest thing to do. But
oh yeah, when you got
the
to see
end of
old
Deathly
Harry and
Hallows.
Ron at the end, that was so bad.
Oh my God, it's just like, no, they're just the same people with makeup on. Like, it does not look good at all.
That looked really bad, yeah. I like
And then you
that's
have
one
things-
situation where I would have preferred if they just got like some nobody actors who kind of sort of look
Seriously.
like them, and they were just there for that one scene, and they like very clearly had Daniel Radcliffe's voice dubbed over him or something,
Something
I would have
like
been
that,
more
yeah.
okay with that.
Even
that
if
was
if it
off-putting.
wasn't his voice, even if it was like a How I Met Your Mother situation, they got fucking Bob Saget.
I
like,
love how they,
like,
yeah,
okay.
right. And I love how they fucking decided to cowboy that scene and make Ron like have massive weight gain, like he's depressed. He fucking married Emma Watson. You mean to tell me Ron is depressed? I mean, sure, that's real life. That's your metabolism, but it's
Yeah,
Ron
that's
fucking Weasley, and he's a fucking magical sorcerer.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like, why, guys?
Why make Ron fat? Like, it's
So
like,
if
oh
you're
yeah,
a magician
sometimes
like
like
that, do you
these
have
really
to be comfortable with your body?
right, like sometimes
can you
these
just
really
transform?
nothing guys get these really amazing women, and that's just what happened to Ron. Poor fucking Ron.
You're doing well up there.
But as far as
Whereas in
Disney like making characters
ahead.
look good, like have you
Yeah.
seen Captain Marvel?
No, I haven't seen Captain Marvel yet. I saw the new Avengers before I'm about to see Captain Marvel.
Okay, I mean Captain Marvel's good. I liked it. It wasn't like fantastic, but good movie. But impressive was Samuel Jackson. How
Making
young
him
they
look
made
young.
him look.
Yeah. So
And there's
I will say the same thing
you
for.
just don't notice it.
Yeah, I'll say the same exact thing for Joe Biden, Captain America, at the end of Endgame. I've already shared my thoughts on that scene. How that was like the big moment of that movie for me.
Yeah.
Because
And it's
Captain
a good
America's
scene.
my favorite, and I was just rooting for exactly what happened to happen for like 7 movies.
Yeah,
so that was
a really good
huge.
end for him.
That was the
It
perfect end
was.
for him.
Which sucks because it's like Tony. I think it's a cool end,
Oh yeah, it's the ending
and
he
it'll
deserved.
always be remembered. I think it's the ending the character deserved and like kind
People,
of we deserved.
like,
but at
you
the
kn-
same time, I feel sad about it.
Oh, me too.
Like-
But at the same time, like how people are still quoting like "I am your father." Like this is like a movie that 50 years from now people will be quoting "I am Iron Man."
Yeah,
that like
in a different way.
Whenever,
yeah.
whenever someone does something like really badass that saves the day, they will be saying "I am Iron Man."
That's true.
For that specific reason.
And that's so crazy that it's like once again, almost like a last minute decision. I mean, it was a reshoot because he didn't say anything.
Yeah,
And then it was
and
one
like
of the
because
last
Robert
scenes
Downey
they shot
Jr.
'cause they brought him
apparently
back.
he wouldn't say anything. Like they couldn't get anything out of him. He was so.
Oh, I think he was pretty emotional.
Yeah,
about
he was,
it.
and I would be too, man. That's that's a decade of your life, and the role that reestablished you as a legitimate actor after
Oh my
some
God.
really serious personal
jeez.
and career problems. I mean that was a huge deal for him, and
Yeah,
I,
and
yeah,
just
I
outside
would
the
have trouble
movies,
shooting that
I'm
too.
so happy for him.
Me too.
Like,
He's a good guy.
he's really, he's a guy. And he did, like, dad basically kind of forced him to do a lot of drugs when he was a kid because
Yeah.
that's how his dad bonded with him.
Right, and
It's just like,
that's just a fucked up
up.
situation to come back from. And
So,
he not only did he
props to
do
him.
it, but he ended up giving his audience like one of the most memorable performances of our generation.
Yeah,
as
way
Iron
to
Man.
like, I feel like sort of single-handedly legitimize the superhero genre.
He did.
and
He
yeah,
really did.
I mean, I know there was
I
X-Men and
think
stuff.
I think Dark Knight came right after Iron Man and did it better, but I don't think the hype around the Dark Knight would have been as big were it not for Iron Man.
That's true, and
because
it's really
it-
like
it's
Avengers
like, hey,
that put it into overdrive.
Yeah, right. And like comic book movies can do more than just be these like goofy little tongue-in-cheek one-off stories.
Yeah.
And if, like I said, the Dark Knight went in a totally different direction and did something totally different from the Marvel universe and did it just as well. But DC really hasn't had anything that big since then.
Yeah.
But again, you're right. It was Robert Downey Jr.'s performance, and it was that movie that really kind of set the stage for the modern superhero genre as we know it.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, that was huge. But overall in that movie, like I said, Captain America being my favorite out of the Generation 1 Avengers,
Like the originals,
suite.
yeah.
Yeah. I was so thrilled to see him get that ending. I think what I want to do is go down here and get oxygen and then snake my way over there. Man,
Okay.
I don't think we're going to finish it in this episode.
This is crazy, yeah.
Like, why is this like such a deceptively long game? I'm not like
How
sick of it.
long?
I'm not
Like-
bored of it. But at the same time, like I feel like we have been doing the same thing for this entire.
This poor person
Right.
for like the last 2.5 hours, it's just like, oh, I'm running
pan-
out. I'm running out.
Yeah,
Like,
constant
oh, thank God.
pants-shitting terror and adrenaline. Yeah,
Seriously.
I would have like let myself go to sleep long
Yeah.
ago in
Or
this situation.
I would have been like,
I would have
oh,
written my
rescue-
last
like,
will
no,
and
fuck this.
testament. Yeah,
I
I
would
would
have
have made a
stayed
journal
right
entry.
next to one of those like on the wall oxygen things
and just
been,
waited for
like-
someone to come for me. Yeah,
which I knew would never happen.
Right.
That's the whole reason you're doing this yourself. But
Yeah.
I would just wait for the help that would never come and,
Right.
and die.
Die. Yeah, you and I, we would not be the best in this kind of crisis.
We're not. No.
I have like
we would
a
not
full
be the
plan.
people that step forward in any
Yeah,
situation.
like
like
I have a
this.
full plan for like what were to happen if like a gunman would ever enter my congregation and stuff like that. In something like this where like I just have no technical knowledge or frame of reference for what's going on, I would do what you would do. I would go into panic mode and just find like the nearest like semi-safe spot and just wait for death. And just pray that it comes peacefully.
Yeah, we're like freaking frogs.
We are.
Or cockroaches whose systems just shut down completely.
Right. Like for you, I'm
Stuck
sure
in the
like
ice.
if there were like an emergency or like a terrible situation in the hospital, like where your ground, I'm sure you would know exactly what to do and would do it. But
like automatically, yeah.
Yeah, but in a situation like this, no. Or like if a plane were ever going down, I would probably just like hug my kids to my chest so that they aren't aware of what's going on and just like close my eyes. Like that would be it. Like that,
Yeah,
that's
so.
kind of morbid to think about, but that's exactly what I would do. Because in that situation, like I already hate flying anyways, and it would just be like sheer panic. Just be like, okay, let's just embrace it.
Like, what can you do?
Yeah, like, let's just embrace
other
that
than
situation.
just pray and die. Like, it is morbid to think about.
And like I know everyone says like, oh yeah, in a gunman situation, I would be the badass who takes him out. I don't think that, but I do have a plan of action like for getting as many people like down or to emergency exits as quickly as possible. Like I would act there because I know in that situation it's actually worse off if you just sit there and don't do anything.
Something like that. And that's sad. Like, you probably don't think about a plane going down very much at all unless you're like riding that day and you're anxious about
right. But these days you do think an awful lot about gunmen.
Think about which is fucking ridiculous.
It's
but yeah,
a
I
sad
thought
fucking
you probably
situation.
have thought about it and practiced it in your head.
Well, yeah, because I'm in charge of a large group of people in a social gathering.
Yeah.
So it is something that we've thought about and talked about congregationally.
Yeah, that's
And granted,
good you have a plan.
we're probably the least likely candidates for that to happen. We're a group of old white people, but at the same time, people just do crazy shit to make a statement, and so
Yep. You do.
so yeah. But yeah, in this situation, I would be less than useless. Why do I keep looking at this? Like I would be like the one guy you feasibly do not want in like your space shuttle when things go wrong. It's like, oh god, why is Chris disconnecting all of our oxygen? I would be the guy like mumbling prayers and making everybody else nervous. Like, oh god.
Do you watch Attack on Titan at all? I'm just thinking about like
No,
morbid
I watched
situations.
like a couple of like the opening episodes, but never really got into it.
Oh man, it is so good.
Is it?
I feel like give it 10 episodes.
Okay.
Give it
I'll have to
like
revisit that one.
10.
I'm rewatching High Score Girl. I like that so much.
That's such a good show. Oh, and I think it's like October, November. We're supposed to get season 2.
I'm so pumped. Yeah.
I'm waiting for it. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm trying to find a new show because
wasn't One Punch Man supposed to come out this spring?
Yeah.
Did it?
There's like 10 episodes out.
Wait, on Netflix?
It's
Or-
Hulu.
Oh, fucking Hulu.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to...
it's being simulcast on Hulu right now.
Do I have to pay for it?
Do you have Spotify?
Yes, I do, but I don't pay for it. I just have the basic subscription.
Because if you wanted to get Spotify Premium, like,
that's right,
for
you get some
yourself,
Hulu
$10.
free. Yeah.
You get the commercial Hulu.
Ah,
for free.
okay. But
So,
can I watch it on Hulu with commercials right now?
You should be able to, yeah.
Oh, tight, dude.
So I'm watching it on Hulu, simulcast. So it's like every Tuesday or something like that.
Dude, is it good?
It's. I don't think it's as good as season 1. It's good, but I feel like the show it parodies shonen, and it kind of just is like, it's different. It's very different. And season 2, I feel like, is more falling into the tropes of shonen, and the story
while
that I
trying
felt like
to
was,
lampoon it. Yeah.
sort of like the story in season 1, and again, I think this is how the manga is too.
I think
the
I've
story
derailed
was barely there. Yeah, what's going on?
Don't
Can you
know.
not?
I think I'm supposed to go in here.
I feel like the story was very thin, and it was just the vehicle that drove the characters to do something, you know. And that's what got Saitama in these situations. And I feel like they're really taking the story seriously in season 2.
Oh, really?
You know,
Oh.
where it's just like, guys, it's already a ridiculous story.
Yeah, like I don't want to take the story seriously. Like give me
I don't
like
think you
the
can
really
make it serious at this point, but they kind of are.
They're trying.
So
Shit.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, there's
I will
still
be
some good
actually like
scenes, and-
upset if they like do the lazy thing and it's like, oh, there's this god character and he's Saitama's only equal. And like, no, like I actually would like the challenge narratively of Saitama just being unstoppable, and you have to make the plot work around that, because they did it
Yeah.
in season 1.
and
it was
that's
brilliant.
that's the strength of season 2 is they're still doing that pretty well.
Okay, where
So-
he is unstoppable.
He is still unstoppable, and it's kind of like, how do you make an interesting story regardless?
Right.
And usually that's because, and again, which is the strength of the character, is he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Or he's just like, oh shit, I gotta get, it's garbage day, let me get my garbage
Yeah, right.
out, or there's a sale going on. Yeah, and I've always liked that, and so that's still there. So that's the strength. It just seems like they're focusing more on the story, which
Yeah.
the story's always going to be there, but it just seems like it's so serious now, and it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you find yourself able to watch it, see if you agree or if I'm totally off base.
Okay. Well, hey, Max, I can't believe we're going to have to do this, but I think this is going to have to go on for one more episode.
I will see if it's one more,
Because
or
the
if
game,
we're like
it's
not close to
pointing
the end
me,
at all.
Yeah, right, that'd be hilarious. It's pointing me right here, but this is offline, so I'm not 100% sure what to do. And so, I'll try to figure that out for next time. I'll probably do a little play in between just to figure out how to open that door.
Okay.
But yeah, next time on Play the Hits, I've been saying this for 2 episodes now, but hopefully we find a way to finish her up.
All right. We'll see you then.
Yeah, see you next time, buddy.